Matt, Rich, thank you for joining me. There's no Ben here this week, but look, I've got some breaking news straight off the presses before we get into the show.
Oh,
All right.
sizzle.
This was a news article. This was a legit news article on a news website. Woolworths have launched a limited edition barbecue chicken flavor called Memphis Barbecue. A Woolworths spokesperson said, "The plot chickens. We are excited."
Whoa.
Okay, yeah.
Just let that breathe. Let that breathe.
Snip in the chickeny air and
the plot chickens.
The plot chickens.
Okay. Yep. All right. Yep.
We are excited about our new seasonal Memphis barbecue hot roast chicken. Now, usually when you see something like that, it's got like a lot of banner work saying that it's an ad. That was legit framed as an article of newsworthiness to people. So there, but I thought I scoffed at that, and then I thought, well, I'm going to talk to someone tonight who
was it in the telly or on news.com?
News.com.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's it. Saying that's a legitimate news site is drawing a very long bow there, but we know that.
Memphis barbecue.
But yeah.
Memphis barbecue.
Barbecue.
Any more details on what a Memphis barbecue has in store for us?
Yeah, what's the difference between a Memphis and a Texas barbecue?
The plot doesn't.
The plot does chicken.
It doesn't chicken, really. The plot thins.
Wasn't Elvis from Memphis?
Yeah. So maybe
it's peanut butter and bacon.
Oh.
Yeah, sounds all right.
Yeah. All right.
I'll give it a bash.
All right, we're back. That's newsworthy.
Yeah, that's definitely newsworthy now.
Yeah.
Bacon, peanut butter flavored chicken.
Yeah. And if you've enjoyed that chicken chat, you can go check out the latest episode of Bit Weird But Fair Enough, I guess, called Chickception. It features Rich and Matt and more chickens.
Chicken dreams.
All right. And then theme music.
Chicken dreams.
No, you don't have to come up with. You don't have to come up with theme music for chickens.
Chicken
dreams. Chicken dreams.
Yes, welcome to What's the Go. Very big thanks to our studio audience here. Let's kick off with this week's headlines, fellas. The Tasmanian AFL... Fuck the first one.
Wow,
Tasmanian AFL team is confirmed. However, there may be a copyright issue in that the team would like to be called the Tasmanian Devils, but Warner Brothers holds the rights to that name because of that stupid fucking cartoon character.
Fuck off.
Well, that okay.
That's really that makes me angry.
Yeah,
I mean it's weird too, isn't it? Because it was actually an animal. That's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, and also, when's the last time they fucking used that? Do they have a Marvel-style Tasmanian Devil franchise about to launch or anything like that?
Well, I didn't see it, Buckland, but I'm sure there are many listeners out here who are saying, yeah, but Space Jam 2 came out, and I'm guessing he was in that.
You can only assume he was one of the main players in the original Space Jam.
That's right. So, I don't know. That is an odd thing if it was that it's actually named after an animal that did exist.
What a shit character too.
Yeah,
he really did fuck all. Like, and I don't know. Don't get started on Tasmanian Devil, the character.
Can't some gel-haired marketing partnerships guru get some sort of affiliation going rather than there being confrontation? Can't Warner Brothers sponsor this Tasmanian AFL team?
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, isn't it? I mean, but then you'd have mixed messaging if the Tassie Devils were playing at Marvel Stadium, and people would get very confused.
Why is that? Sorry, I thought I was going to come watch the Hulk playing, and now there's these,
That's
these
right.
weird Warner
There's
Brothers
Warner
characters.
Brothers characters in the Marvel world. What's going on?
It's a crossover we always wanted. Our Aussie women's tennis stocks are dangerously low, with us having only one women's player in the draw for the French Open. Tom Lanovic and Saville have been out injured, and of course, Ash Barty has selfishly retired to have a baby. So
selfish.
So selfish.
Yeah.
Didn't our Australian the women's stocks plummet by 100% when Ash Barty left? Like, I'm not being nasty here, but fuck me, name me another Australian-born women's tennis player.
Ooh.
There
See what
we
he
go.
did there?
See what I did there? Yeah.
Australian-born.
Australian-born.
Not the first time she's been selfish. She was selfish. She left and went and played cricket.
Cricket.
Yeah.
Went and be really good at cricket.
And then was really
That's
good
the
at
most
cricket.
selfish
And then
thing.
left cricket
Yeah.
to go back to tennis and win.
Yeah.
Grand
Win. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
God.
Selfish.
Should come back and play pickleball.
Well, yeah. Well, there's nothing worse than people who are good at multiple sports. Make me sick.
Not just
Yeah.
a little bit good, but really,
like really good. Like elite.
good.
Yeah, no. Got no time for that.
But you do hear that, particularly in Melbourne. You hear a lot of people who like have to choose between being a first grade, like a AFL player, or have a successful career.
Well,
sometimes.
like Warney is the most famous, right? He would have preferred to play for St Kilda.
But he was too fat.
He was too fat, not good enough. So
he was a good player, but he was too fat.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And then he was like, "Oh, all right, I'll go and roll my arm over, I guess."
That was by late '80s standards. So, God.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. I mean, his hair, his early '90s hair would be right back in the game.
Spot on.
Spot on. Yeah. Oh, God.
Still on tennis, but not really. Alleged gunman holds up Nick Kyrgios's mother and steals her car.
The big weird green one.
Wasn't it his car? His Tesla?
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. His
customized Tesla. Yeah.
I mean, I've got nothing to say about that, but it also would have been weird not to mention because it's
absolutely
a major Australian sports star. But
that had a clickbait headline, which it didn't work on me, but it was something like "Amazing coincidence helps police find Nick Kyrgios's car," and I was like, "What a strange headline."
I wonder if the coincidence was that Nick had tracking in it because it's a Tesla.
Yep. It's not a coincidence then.
It's not a coincidence at all. Someone needs a dictionary at probablynews.com.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun. Oh, where's the Nick pun in there?
Yeah.
There's low hanging.
Oh,
fruit.
nicked.
He's got nicked. Yeah.
That's just the headline. Anyway.
So Karis goes. No, can't do it.
No.
I don't work. I've never worked for news, so
it's harder than it looks.
Can't quite get there. Two-time Australian Open golf champion Frank Phillips has died aged 90. I had no idea who the bloke was, but he was a successful Aussie sports person, so he's a bloody legend.
Frank Phillips.
Yeah.
Do you do anything? Do you do anything outside of Australia? Do you get no other majors?
Cockfighting ring, probably. You know what they were like back then.
Yeah. No, I don't doubt that for a second.
He was a dual international.
He was a dual
golfer / cockfighting.
An elite cockfighting trainer.
Articles this week everywhere about potential moves in the NRL. There was a lot of talk about Kyle Flanagan going to Manly from the Bulldogs after being dropped for 1 week. Ben Hunt could shift to Canberra, says the articles, probably from News again. Yeah. And Josh Schuster could move to the Tigers immediately. Now, it's been pretty spectacular news stories with Josh Schuster this week because pretty much, as far as I can tell, he's the only player I can ever remember where his teammates have come out in the media and basically called him a lazy prick.
Yeah.
You know, Daly Cherry Evans come out and say, you know, basically say you got to actually put some effort into being first grade. And other people saying that he's just like putting no effort into diet or staying fit or conditioning himself. And he's on 800K a year apparently. So that if that's not enough motivation to make yourself, fit and available to play, then I don't know what you need.
Yeah, can we have a montage like for the next few weeks where he just changes teams and just gets in the mad shape and then gets ready to play Manly and just comes out and smashes them all?
He moves over to West's, has one good game, then walks past a burger joint. He's too fat to run.
He was doing well, and then Woolies released their Memphis style
That's
chicken.
right.
Yeah. Schuster announces partnership with Woolies.
But then he
just gives him a Memphis chicken for every point he scores, and he goes on a 5-try spree.
He just lines them up at the end of the game. Elite sportsman, you're elite.
But there you go. Like, can you remember? Can you remember any time, any code really, where someone's like, essentially, everyone's just come out and said, "This guy's a lazy turd,"
and that's before they've traded him.
Well, the talk of trading is because he's been dropped. He's been dropped because he's too unfit to be playing first grade NRL.
I can't ever remember that. You always get that sort of after the event, like they get, they might get dropped or they get traded or it's the end of the season and those stories come out. But I can't remember in season just being
he got dropped
because he's fat and hopeless.
Well, he gave up going to play in the World Cup so he could focus on his getting fit in preseason, and he was as far as we could tell for the first few weeks. And now all of a sudden he's not again. So he's been smashing burgers.
Yeah.
What's that? Or he's been on the piss constantly. Well, what's the allegedly? Sorry, this is going to be broadcast. Allegedly. Oh, everyone's still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. I'm just being boring. Right.
You had a nice big there, and I was expecting the next headline or another segue, and I didn't want to interrupt. That was all.
All right. Well, I might stick the applause light on, and our audience can fill that gap with a few cheers at my amazing point. A bunch of Newcastle Knights players are currently in Bali. It's their bye week, and the coach obviously thought that they should have a well-earned holiday after getting thrashed 43-12 by Parramatta.
It's a great idea.
FYI, that field goal that Parramatta kicked was not near halftime or anything when scores were close, so it was in the 80th minute as a real fuck you to the opposition.
With someone on a chicken deal or something like that? That seems like a real, really I guess, messed up thing, right?
He's going to come out and go, see if they scrape into 8th place by 1 point on for and against. Yeah. But, the Knights deserve to fuck you if anyone watched that game. Would agree with that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It is, I mean, it's nice for them. I mean, how great would that be? But it's very, round 6, 7?
It seems a bit premature, doesn't it?
It's not even mid-season.
You're really saying, yeah, you know what? We're just not into it this season.
Yeah, we don't really take this season. Let's just, ease off this season. We'll get ready for next season.
That's right. It's that kind of mentality.
Yeah. But I don't think the coach doesn't have the luxury of wasting the rest of this season because he'll be on his ass surely if they finish down near the bottom. So I don't know why he's let them go to Bali after getting absolutely molested.
Speaking of molested in rugby league, sorry, I assume there's a segue somewhere.
Oh, look, NRL could play several games in Las Vegas at the start of next season. PVL's trying to line up.
There we go. That's the segue. Speaking of molested in rugby league and overseas, yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it?
Do you think your average American craps player is keen on leaving the tables to go and watch some rugby league.
Absolutely.
Are they just going to like rope off like an area and just drunken Vegas patrons are just going to end up wandering into the stadium and just be like, oh, okay.
I'd like to kind of doing the pushing someone off through the velvet rope style.
Yeah, that's right. Come this way.
Wait a minute.
Well, I think to get people interested, they should have a little makeshift field, like out, in front of them. Like you could have the in-goal area as that Bellagio fountain.
Yeah.
People got to dive in to score.
Got to, hit, just,
Hang on. Let the audience laughter die down for a second.
Just everything to chance, really. Just, I don't know. Let them gamble live.
Let them gamble on the game. It's going to be the thing. Like if you're going to, I think that, and I think the NRL has an opportunity here just to really lean into the sports betting thing because AFL is really trying to distance itself. A lot of other sports are starting to move away from it. Lean into it. Fucking get them all on board and just
get the refs involved. Like,
don't worry, that's it.
Was that a forward pass? And then they roll the dice.
Oh, that's fantastic! Spin the red or black on whether it was a knock on or not.
Yeah.
What about this? Just for the Vegas games, instead of using the oval shaped ball, they use leather cube that's a die.
Die.
And then, so, Matty Burton might put up one of his super bombs. And while it's in the air, everyone can get bets on for what it's going to land at.
Can he kick?
Genius.
Can he somehow kick two at once? So people could say, "Come on, lucky seven, lucky seven."
Snake eyes. Everyone loses.
Oh.
Well, the idea of multi-ball rugby league is something I haven't thought of too much, but it's be interesting whether they're in Las Vegas or not. Really.
Need to bring back some of the old players and grid up the field, and then wherever they end up taking a dump, that'll be the winner.
Yeah, yep. So the dump square, vomit square,
dump roulette. Yeah, where they're gonna have the bubbler. Introduce the Americans to that.
Yeah, spear tackle. Where's the spear tackle gonna happen?
Yeah,
that's a good idea on the squares.
Hopawati action.
So square it up like a roulette table.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the Hopawati Square. Do you research?
Oh.
What's this Hopawati Square? Oh, I like the sound of that.
Ooh, it's paying 80 to 1.
All right. And last headline here. Simply Red frontman Mick Hucknall reveals he slept with up to 3 women a day at one point in his heyday. Oh, hang on. That's not sport. Guys, I'm sorry. I don't know how that got in there again. Bizarre.
I find that very hard to believe, though.
I don't know. Fame
does weird things to people. But
it's a face smoother.
It's also a creepy thing to brag about.
Yeah.
These days, like I think that there was a time and a place for bragging about how many women you betted, and that time well and truly has passed.
Yeah,
you can do it. I've got no problems with it, but I don't think it should be. It's not something you're revealing in the interview.
No, I know it's accidental.
I love the thought of coming into you.
Oh, God,
Jesus.
Your quim is too tight to mention.
I think Cunny's too tight to mention would have been easy, but either way.
All right. Yeah.
Can I ask? I know it was an accident that this appeared, but
yes, of course.
Did he frame this in the way of framing this? It's not a boast. It's like a shameful confession, but it's really a boast.
It's framed as, oh God, can you believe this is what I was like before I was married and had
this
kids?
is what I used to be like, sleeping with 3 women a day, and oh my God, how embarrassing that I slept with 3 women a day.
Yeah,
so embarrassing.
Nice.
Can you imagine?
Very nice.
Yes. Oh dear! I know you told us at the start you were keeping a pun for later, but my God, you must have a Gatling gun set up.
You're not holding much in the barrel, are you?
These are separate puns.
You've got the pun.
These are bonus puns. Don't worry.
This is the sizzle pun. We're going to wait another week.
No. Yeah, I've got a pun for next week. I need Ben for this pun. Don't worry about it. These are freebies. These are all free. Extra puns. Chimpet, download the app.
Chimpet, live from Las Vegas.
Scrum versus Scrum.
Bum versus bum. Download the app. You stupid hairy apes.
There you go.
I thought maybe we could do something that, or I was going to say something that could become a new segment, actually, which is missed jokes. Missed jokes. So, listening back, editing last week's episode, speaking of pun, I saw a Simpsons pun joke sitting right there that I missed completely.
That's always interesting when you're listening to podcasts and you go, you should have said that.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing that to myself from last week.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I never listen back to any of our stuff.
So we were talking about the Big Bash and not having enough good players, and I said that Big Show broke his leg, and then they realized there wasn't anyone else to fill the gap. Well, we could have done the old Simpsons Big Show to fill. Big Show to fill. Oh
dear.
I reckon it would have been funnier last week.
Yep.
So, all right, well, yeah.
I wonder what joke from this week will come back next week.
Well, another Simply Red pun, surely.
Yeah. I'll get on it. I'll come back with 33. Well, these are off the top of my head.
Mick Fucknell. There we go.
Oh. Well, now we got nothing for next week's missed jokes.
Sorry. Yeah, wipe that. That's not going to get beaten.
All right. Have you seen, fellas, this war of words between rugby union and rugby league in the papers? Well, no. I say papers. No one actually reads papers.
You say the papers? No, I haven't.
No.
Articles. So, so Hamish McLennan, who's the rugby union boss, and Peter V'landys have been sparring back and forth ever since the union blokes bought Joseph Swiley on big money contract. It's been raging for a few weeks, and we've reached a point now where Union Supremo Hamish McLennan's challenging rugby league to a scrum off. He's basically taking the piss out of league, saying, union. He wants a Union v League scrum competition, and he's mocking the rugby league scrum. But the problem is that I don't think you realise that everyone in rugby league mocks the rugby league scrum as well.
Yeah,
for being a pointless waste of time.
Yeah, you might as well throw a big hula hoop around the forwards and and then just chuck the ball in, and that'll be it. Like, that's how relevant the scrum is in league.
May as well do just like line them up and roll it through for stick in the mud, and then you can move once the ball's through your legs. Something to that effect. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Will the public cockswinging of the two dogs calm down, or will it just continue into tedious one-upmanship until one of them crucifies themselves on a goalpost or something?
Is the Rugby World Cup this year?
No, it's not for a few years.
Oh, because that's usually when that stuff tends to happen, is when there's a event and they want everyone. Yeah, I don't know.
I can tell you how it started.
It is this year. They're playing the Rugby World Cups in France. So I'm guessing that's why.
But Swiley's not going to be playing in that because he doesn't go to Union until end of next year.
No, but I think they're just looking for any reason to get people talking about rugby. More than having beef with like rugby league.
Well, there is that, but also like, V'landys. I think V'landys, people can't help but have a pop at V'landys because he's a big gooby looking dude who mouths off way too much.
Yep.
And so, when Union bought Swiley, V'landys was dropping comments about, he can go and take his money, but he'll be back in league in a few years, which McLennan didn't like. And then it's been trading barbs ever since.
It's always annoying when like the executives of sporting codes like start taking shots at each other and everyone's like, we don't care. Does anyone know? Like,
I think that, and that's what it comes down to. I think at the end of the day, Union had a great product there at one point.
Yeah.
And they just squandered it. They did not invest in any kind of grassroots that was outside of the GPS system. It was just they had good ratings, they had a good solid following, they had an opportunity to really kind of pull the rug out from rugby league, and they squandered it. They stuffed it. It's done. I really can't see them coming back from it in any point in the near future, bar some big name players coming through. And I think they'd have to be pretty substantial big name players to actually make that kind of a difference.
Because I think what the same kind of thing happened 20 years ago. They did a raid on rugby league.
Yeah.
And they had this great success. And then those players retired, and they didn't, like as Ellison, they didn't invest in the grassroots. So they retired, and then there was no one good, and then we were terrible and have been terrible for so long.
But yeah, the reason for that is Union is very, very deliberately exclusionary.
Yeah.
It's
a
pity because it's a great sport. It's an amazing sport, and it's probably a much safer sport, I think, for kids to play than.
Definitely.
Like, it's just the mentality behind it, and this is what I'm saying. Like, outside of that private school,
Northern Beaches,
it's really sad because it could be a really good sport and really strong. And that's it. Like, they'll pick, one or two Islander kids and the odd Indigenous kid to come, and you can be part of the fold now because you've done it. But it's not. They're not doing that on the grassroots level. They're not out, trying to plug away at that in any kind of, around the Barassi line, which is where you need to get out there and really kind of put your marketing team to work, get the kids involved. This is what it's got to come down to, and they're just not doing it. Like, there's no presence whatsoever anywhere in Victoria that I've seen. At least league's got a bit of and admittedly we are a border town, so we see a bit around here, but a league has a presence here. Union is just, no one even understands what the hell that Union exists.
Yeah,
they just know everything's just rugby.
I think the problem. I think that a real problem with rugby is, and I found it even when we played at school, like even playing like when I was younger, it's not any kind of elite style of play, but the simple thing was, I always found like a good game of rugby, even to play in, like an open game, was better than playing in a game of league. But if it was a bad game, like a really slow, stodgy stop-start, it's so bad.
It's so bad. And the referee dictates that to a great degree as well. And that's the other big
biggest
thing,
problem, I think, is great rugby is sensational to watch. Yeah. But so many times, especially in that, like, internationals, it just gets so stodgy, and you're just like, I don't know.
When you fuck up a line out and have to do it 4 times or whatever.
And for years, people are like, what is that? What was that infringement? Don't know.
And the advantage rule goes on for so long, and then they bring it back, and you're like, well, why are you even bothering? Like, it's just like the advantage should last for a certain period of time, not throughout the. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's enough.
A question, and you might not know the answer because you might not have watched either. I haven't watched Union in a long time. Do they still have kicking duels?
I guess so.
Occasionally. I haven't watched much either.
I used to go. There was a couple of seasons where I went to 5 or 6 Brumbies games.
Holy shit!
In a season, because it was entertaining, and that was probably over 10 years ago now. And then it just got slower and stodgier, and the talent pool in the Australian teams just slowed down, and it just all of a sudden you're like, this isn't interesting. But there was a real period there for when I was going where it was like, this is good. This is, and the crowds were big in Canberra. It was easily bigger than the Raiders, but I don't think they get. I mean, the Raiders rugby league doesn't get many fans either, but I think it does better than the Union, and it makes no sense. It should, so many toffs in Canberra.
Absolutely.
All the old school boys would be loving their Union, but I don't know.
All the pollies, as well. Yes. Oh well.
Yeah.
That Hamish McLennan, not particularly nice fella. He was CEO at 10 for a while I was there.
Oh.
You just got an axe to grind.
No, I would genuinely like to see a scrum off. Wouldn't you like to see that?
I'd love to see
Scrum
it.
off.
Particularly because the union one's got 2 extra fellas in it too.
Yeah, and they have to push. That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
He's
got a very punchable face. I think
he does
definitely.
Maybe
he's
they
a
could do
Murdoch
that.
shill.
Maybe they could do that in Vegas and like see how many bet
there
on
we
how many
go.
league players are going to get snapped in the scrum.
Yeah. Oh, that's not bad. That's how to get people interested. Can you? You're going out for a bit of a punt, and then all of a sudden there's a dozen blokes pushing against each other in a big huddle right outside right in the foyer.
Yep.
Oh, what's this, honey? Hey,
we can bet on how many stud marks are in each leg of the league players at the end of the rolling ruck.
Yeah.
Or even better, and then you have like all the linebackers come up.
Oh yeah.
And take on the winner.
See, then you got the NFL. Now we're talking.
That'd get some interest in Vegas. That'd be the one.
That's good.
NFL versus NRL. That'd be a great game.
Leave your helmets on. That'd be even better.
Yeah, that Hamish McLennan is like a Murdoch crony.
Yeah.
The main thing I remember about him is, 2 main things. A, he was never very nice to anybody. When, being nice is free. Doesn't cost you nothing, does it?
No.
And secondly, the way that the 10 building is designed, there wasn't any kind of executive bathroom. The the execs would have to go and use the same bathroom as the punters on the top level. And he would always, every time I went in there, he was in there brushing his teeth. I don't know what his go was, but he must have brushed his teeth like 5 times a day.
Is that the number of times you were in the bathroom?
Yeah.
The amount of turds you were doing? Jeez. Fair enough.
The cafe downstairs wasn't much chop, so yes. But he would just give you the filthiest look if he was brushing his teeth and you came in. And you just I never said anything, but you're like,
what's
mate,
this guy doing? Coming in, I'm trying to brush my teeth in a public toilet.
I love
Jesus Christ, the nerve of people.
I love the reverse of this story where he's like, oh, every time I'm brushing my teeth in the bathroom, someone's doing a turd.
This guy comes in and does a turd. It's the same guy every time.
Yeah. Like, okay, why are you brushing your teeth? Yeah.
One of the munters up on the top
This
floor.
mint is not overpowering this poo waft.
That's right. Yeah, strangely enough.
PWs are killing me in here.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, no. I was reading sports book, Kevin Garnett, former NBA player, intense, crazy intensity dude, and he's just one of my favorite things are weird sporting injuries. And he just said there was a game where one of their starting players, Kendrick Perkins, had to sit out for a week because of an injured toe, which isn't a strange injury for basketballs. They're always getting hurt, people landing on it. But he hurt his toe when he was assembling his bed, and somehow it collapsed, and he got his foot somehow caught in the collapsed bed and broke one of his toes. And he said the weirdest thing was these are people on $1 million contracts, and it was literally like a cheap IKEA bed that he was putting together with like a, just with as many Allen keys as you could possibly find, I guess. And so I thought, I thought,
find out he had an Allen key lodged under his toenail.
Yeah, something. But I still don't quite understand, like the bed collapse and your toe gets caught in the bed.
Well, it sounds like bullshit.
Yeah. So there's a lot. So when I looked it up,
it's a darndest thing, Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, I looked up. I wonder if there are any other weird sporting injuries like that. And a lot of them are like, like there was one that I read where it was like, my wife made me pancakes in bed, and I reached over to grab the pancakes and threw my back out.
Wow. She brought the whole stove into bed.
Yeah, I guess. But I'll read you. How about? I'll read you like 3 or 4 because these are pretty interesting. So a lot of them are from baseball in America. Greg Harris missed 2 games for the Rangers after he inflamed his elbow. You'll never guess how. His friend was sitting in a seat nearby the dugout, and he spent the entire game flicking sunflower seeds at him just to annoy him. And then he couldn't use his elbow the next day. Just because
he's allergic to sunflower seeds?
No, he's just annoying his friend, just constantly just throwing.
Oh, so sorry, the flicky was
so the player, he was throwing sunflower seeds at his friend for a laugh, and doing it for the entire game. And then the next day it was his turn to pitch, and he was like, "My elbow's locked up."
That's mental. But these all sound like excuses. Like they feel like they're along the same vein as a certain rugby league superstar fullback who raced somebody along the main street on a Saturday night, like drunkenly had a foot race with a punter.
Yeah.
Seemingly looked a bit injured. And then the story was the next night they slipped in the shower.
Yes.
And tore their hamstring.
That's right, yes.
The very next night.
The very next night, yes. He was good running down the street barefoot. We've got Brazilian soccer star Romário once missed a game because he was bedridden after taking a suppository orally. So I don't know what the real issue is there, but apparently if you take a suppository orally, that messes you up. As obscure as it goes, Norwegian footballer Sven Grondolen went for a jog as part of his training for an international match and ran headlong into a moose. Now that's a story that you... So tell me again what happened. I was going for a run.
Well, I ran into a moose.
And a moose ran into me. Oh, okay. Good.
That's the only one I'm buying.
Yeah.
Pancakes in bed, I'm not buying.
No. And this one is just picture Tom Clavine suffered such severe food poisoning that he broke a rib whilst vomiting. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. I can believe that one too, though.
I can believe that for sure.
Yeah. That's pretty nasty. But I think maybe I've got, there's quite a few, and I think next week I'll read a few more out. But
mate, just pepper them in.
There's quite a few.
Salt bay them into episodes.
Yeah, we'll do.
There's a topical reference for everyone.
Yeah, wow.
You say Funky Buckland.
To the Funky Buckland.
What do you think, studio audience? And with that, we'll leave you tonight. Thanks, Rich and Matt, and studio audience, and anyone who may be listening. We'll see you next week. Goodbye now. Goodbye. What's the Go is being proudly brought to you by ChimpBet. ChimpBet. You could win the monkey. We still don't know what that means, but you can.
Oh dear.
Bananas at ChimpBet.
Yeah, picking nits or picking winners. I don't know. ChimpBet.
Picking winners like you pick nets. Okay.
Don't fling your poop. Fling your cash. ChimpBet.
Ting, ting. Thanks, ChimpBet.
Should it say cha-chimp? No, is that too hard?
Cha-chimp, cha-chimp.
Well, I think in the next one we need like somebody from ChimpBet to come in and do like a live read of the odds for something. Joel Kane style.
Jeez.
Anyway.
A bit of Joel Kane reference. Speaking of last week's episode, Ellis called you Buffalo Buckland at one point because you said "Will you fuck me?" and that was another one I didn't hear on the night, but
right,
when it came on,
got a ring to it, though, doesn't it?
That's pretty great. Buffalo Buckland.
And later on, I too quickly said I'd be happy to eat human flesh too. So that was obviously there was something wrong with me that night.
Oh, God.
This is an Angry Chimp podcast.
Hello, my name is Piers Grove, and I'm a founder, publisher, and managing director. In March 2022, I'd just been named Managing Director of Australian Geographic and set up Scout Publishing. Then everything changed. 404 Brain Not Found, the podcast for stroke survivors and their friends and colleagues. We explore the absurd experience and frustrating journey of stroke recovery. 404 Brain Not Found, a general experiments podcast on all podcast streamers.
My name's Stu.
I'm Rachel.
And we are fans.
Obsessives might be the word.
Of the 90s. The 90s. The 90s. The 90s. You can follow the podcast on your favorite podcast app. Rachel, what's the name of the show?
Swinging on the flippity flop.
Why the 90s?
We lived it.
We lived it. We were it.
Was it the best decade ever or the lamest? Let's find out.
Flippity flop.